CDs up there, yes, for sale, so you can take just a little piece of her home.
That's on the new CD.
That's on the new CD. She just got back from Hawaii creating. Yeah, some of you knew when I said Margaret was here today what that meant. Some of you are brand new, you didn't know, now you know. That's on Margaret. And the really cool thing is she writes all her own songs.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an original. All right, so we have been doing our abundance program this whole month. The program this year has been called The Door is Already Open. Wide open. I purposely picked a graphic that had all that beautiful white light so you can imagine it as whatever the heck you wanted to imagine it as. I also have my little black door right there. I'll tell you what we're going to do with that later. But first, let's do a quick recap to get everybody caught up. Week 1. The door is already open, but what blocks my belief? So if I'm not living to my fullest potential, whatever that is, whether that be in relationships and love, whether that be in prosperity and money and career, whether that be health and wholeness, whether that be peace of mind, if we're not living to that fullness of who we are, it's something that we are thinking that's in our way. Because God doesn't withhold any of it from us. So what blocks my belief? I asked us to really take a look. We shouted out a few things. The main thing was fear. It's just a common thing amongst humans. We get afraid that the promise of God expressing through us maybe it won't be true. We get afraid that wholeness and health is not really our true state, that abundance is not really ours. Fear that I'm not good enough. That's a common one. Fear that I'm not good enough or something's not going to be good enough. What I said that day is if we don't take out those blocks and look at them, we cannot change them. So even though Ernest Holmes says turn away from the condition, he's talking about when you pray. Don't look at the condition when you pray. But if you don't know what's in there, you can't change it. So you got to take it out and go, oh, I see. That belief has been limiting me. Time to let go. That was week 1. Week 2, the door is already open. Let's use our imagination. The white light. You can use your imagination to see whatever you want to see coming through that door to you, or you going through that door to it. It really doesn't matter which direction you see it. We did a guided visualization that morning where I asked you to see something new or improved better in your life and see it in multicolor if you can, to see yourself living the new way and to feel it. Because as we feel it, we bring it like a great magnet into our life. If it's just a head game, it doesn't go very far. It's a starting place. But we want to see it and feel the newness as best we can. So if you're seeing yourself abundant and prosperous, maybe you see yourself being generous. Maybe you see all your bills being paid with ease and grace. If you're seeing yourself healthy and whole, see yourself living that way. What would you be doing when you're with your health and your wholeness? If you see love in relationships, what would that look like? What would you and your partner be looking at each other like? How would you be treating your children or your parents? See it as best you can see it. Use your imagination. And I said that day, if you were told as a child, quit daydreaming, I say, start daydreaming again. You got to daydream. You got to use that imagination. That's how you make it real. Last week was the door is already open. Let it flow. Kind of harken back to what's in the way. This time we see the blocks. Now I'm going to let it flow through me. One of the teachings that Ernest Holmes says over and over and over and over and over and over and over is that God can only do for me what God can do through me. Good job. Through me. Through our awareness, through our consciousness. It's not God doing something to you. You're not a victim, nor are you getting prized for something you did well. There's no reward or punishment in this philosophy. It's what can I believe? What can I believe so I can let that flow through me? I gave us a visual last week that it made a difference to a lot of you, so if you weren't here, I'm going to say it again. Imagine a dimmer switch. Maybe in your dining room area you have a dimmer switch. Yes, everybody knows what that is? To make it brighter or lighter. The energy is already flowing. It is always there. It's your choice if you want to dim it down or if you want to brighten it up. That's the way we're using God energy. Do you want to dim it down? Do you want to brighten it up? Of course, there's mood lighting, but that's not what we're talking about. We're just talking about the energy It's always there. The energy in the wall socket can't say, oh no, I'm not going that bright today. It just, if you say turn it up, it turns up, right? So it's a great image for us to have. I also told the story, which I'm not going to tell the whole thing. You can watch the YouTube from last week. But it was about not hanging on to our scrawny cows. Basically, the story, I'll tell the real quick version of it, is that this couple had one little scrawny cow. And that was like the only possession they thought they had. Long story short, some people came and helped them eat that cow and everything out in their household, and they felt devastated. Years later, the man comes upon some treasure, and his life is transformed, and everything is wonderful. And the people who helped him eat that cow, he said to their master who was traveling with him, what happened? How come he's so abundant now? He said, oh, we just need to help him get rid of his scrawny cow, so he can have the life he was meant to live. So, what are your scrawny cows? What are the things that you're hanging on to so tight? That's the only thing I have. It's the only thing I have. I get the temptation to do that. I can't give anything else because it's the only thing I have. If you're hanging on to your scrawny cow, the fat one can't come in. Okay, so we want to release our scrawny cows. I love that story. I've told it probably 10,000 times, and I'll probably tell it again so you can hear it again. So that was all the last three. Today, we are committing, that's a big word, to staying awake and to practicing. With the candle, practicing word. I like the idea of staying awake, though. I like that a lot. Staying awake mentally and emotionally, I'm not talking about insomnia. I'm talking about keeping our mind open, keep our emotions open, so we can practice. Here's what happens. I know this is a tendency because I've gotten stuck in it myself. We go to and we hear talk, or we read a new book, or we get some inspiration, we go to a retreat, we have some inspiration, and we get really high on that, right? We've gone to a big seminar, it's like, ooh, this is the best thing. You read this new book, oh, this is so good. We get really high, and then we go home, and a couple months later, we've forgotten all about it. And we're back down to, wow, I felt so good reading that book, I felt so good, what happened? This is the staying awake and practicing part. Because it's a really good place to start. We do want to read the books, we do want to be inspired by speakers, we do want to go to the retreats, we absolutely want to use everything we can to fill us up. It's a really good starting place. But there comes a time in our spiritual growth where if we keep needing the external stimulation, we're nothing but a junkie. What we need to do is transform it in our own world, in our own life, so that we can do it ourselves. So that we can take the practices and start to use them. And there's no judgment on where you're at in the path. It's just check it out for yourself. Are you in the gathering? I'm in the gathering. I'm reading books and I'm taking it all in. Cool. At some point in time, the practice has to kick in. If you've been on the path for a long time and you're feeling kind of like dry, like, what else is there? It's time to up the inner game. Time to up the meditation and the prayer life. Because even though this is inspiring, you've got to be able to use it on a daily basis, even when the inspiration isn't there. I know, that's the hard part. Who's I have to do that? And I go and listen to these guys sing and get all inspired. Well, that's why you come to church, right? You keep coming so you can get inspired by things like that. What about Monday through Saturday? You know, what are the things that we use? What are the things we practice so that there's less outside stimuli needed and more internal awakening that we use and we practice with? There's a balance. There's a balance between taking in and being able to practice for ourselves. Practice is the important part for today. Let me go to our founder, Ernest Holmes. I have two today. Let's go to this one. He's reminding us God's creative power of mind is right here. We have as much of this power to use as we believe in and embody. The storehouse of nature is filled with infinite good, awaiting the touch of our awakened thought to spring forth into manifestation in our lives. But the awakening must be within our thought. The awakening must be within our thought. When we awaken the idea of the infinite storehouse of nature,